The fear that waits for the dark thinks you are alone in here. For the next few hours, you are going to hear from the person who has been with you the whole time. You will not be asked to be brave here, or to argue your thoughts into silence on your own. What happens is gentler than that. One name of Jesus after another will be spoken over your fear, slowly through the whole night, until the fear has nowhere left to stand. Nothing here asks anything of you now. Lie back. Let it play low beside you. You do not have to stay awake to receive a word of it. It will keep working over you while you sleep. Let it begin where every fear must begin, with the name that stands above them all. Philippians 2, verses 9 to 11. Therefore God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name above all names, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. The room you are lying in already has an owner. You are not its owner, and the thoughts pacing across it since the lights went out were never its owners either. Long before you lay down, a name was set above this room and above every room. A name lifted higher than any other, so that at the sound of it every knee in heaven and on earth and beneath it bends low. The thoughts crowding your mind in the dark are not exempt from that. They are insistent. They are not Lord's. They have been moving through this place as though it belongs to them, and it does not. So before you try to quiet anything, let the room hear who it answers to. It answers to the Lord, the one whose voice the wind and the sea obeyed without argument, whose authority has never needed volume. The King of glory rules here, the one the ancient gates were told to lift their heads and welcome in. Here too is the Word who was there in the beginning, speaking light into a place that had only ever known dark, before there was a single fear in you to be afraid of. He is the Alpha, the place where everything starts. And this night begins there as well. The name he carries stands higher than the name of anything that has been keeping you awake. And the name does not arrive alone. The King of glory comes with the Lord. The beginning of all things comes with the Word, holding this hour as surely as he held the first morning of the world. One presence after another fills the space your fear thought was empty, until the room stops being yours to defend and stops being fear's to claim. It belongs to him, and he is in no hurry to leave it. Say that name once softly and notice what happens to the noise. It does not answer back. It cannot. The thought that swore you would never rest grows quieter the moment a greater name is in the room beside it, the way a crowded argument falls still when the one with real authority finally speaks. You have spent your strength trying to outshout your own mind. The quiet comes another way, from simply naming the one your mind already answers to. You have wondered whether the restlessness is simply who you are now, whether peace is a room you are allowed to visit but never to stay in. Here, in the quiet, the unrest shows itself for what it has always been. It is only a visitor, one that has been mistaking itself for the resident. You do not have to drive it out by force. Only remember whose presence already fills this space, and no visitor keeps a room once the owner has walked in. Notice that you have stopped bracing. The shoulders that carried the whole day come down a small measure. You did nothing to earn that, and you will do nothing to keep it. It is what a room does when its rightful owner is present and the intruder has gone still, so you can step back from the door. The name above every name is already inside, and that name has never once lost a room to fear. Your breathing can slow now. Nothing here needs winning before you sleep. The one who holds this room will hold it all the way to morning. He will not grow tired, and he will be here when you wake. Whatever waits for you on the other side of this sleep, the name that fills this room has already gone ahead of you into it. What has looked too big for you will bow to the grace spoken over your life. Rest under that name now. It held the world before you were born, and it will hold you until morning. John 8, verses 10 to 11. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" And she said, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said to her, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on sin no more." Picture a courtyard in the gray of early morning, before the city is fully awake. A woman is pulled into the open and made to stand where everyone can see her. Stones are already in the hands of the men around her. They have the law on their side, and they are right about what she has done. The verdict seems settled before a word is spoken in her defense. This is an hour your own mind knows well. When the lights go out, the accusers gather. They bring the thing you said wrong, the chance you let slip, the person you failed, the version of yourself you cannot seem to bury. They have the facts on their side too. And they wait, stones in hand, for you to agree that the case is closed. But the only one in that courtyard with the right to throw a stone knelt down in the dust instead. He wrote something on the ground that no one bothered to record, took his time, and let the silence do its slow work, until one by one the stones came down and the oldest accuser was the first to walk away. When he finally stood, he did not read her record back to her. He asked where her accusers had gone. Then came the words that close every case the night tries to reopen. "Neither do I condemn you. Go and leave this behind." Hear who was speaking. The Lamb of God, the only one in that courtyard without a stone he deserved to throw, chose to stand between the guilty and the verdict. This is your advocate, the one who takes the side of the accused and has already agreed to carry the charges himself. When the accusation comes for you in the dark, it is not stepping into an empty room. It runs straight into your Redeemer, who bought back what you were sure was forfeited, and into your mediator, who stands in the very gap the guilt keeps pointing to. The friend a respectable crowd mocked him for keeping, the friend of sinners, is the same friend who has not left your side, and he is not embarrassed to be found with you here. He did not befriend the polished version of you that you keep trying to present. He befriended the one lying awake with the record playing, and he has stayed. So the defending has been taken out of your hands by someone far better at it. The trial your mind keeps restarting has no standing in this room. Mercy has already entered the verdict, and mercy outranks the memory. The replay can keep running if it must, but it has lost the power to sentence you. Let the stones fall from your own hands as well. You have been your harshest accuser, rehearsing the charges long after heaven dismissed them. That work is finished. Lay down the file you have been clutching against yourself. The one who refused to condemn the woman in the courtyard is not waiting to condemn you in your bed. Breathe out the name you have been calling yourself, and breathe in the name he calls you by instead. Your advocate has already won the case, and grace holds you now where the verdict once did. Let it carry you down into sleep. The one who would not condemn you keeps the watch while you rest. Exodus 14, verses 13 to 14 and 21. And Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided. Stand still. At the edge of the sea, with an army closing in behind and deep water ahead and nowhere left to run, the instruction was a strange one. Stop struggling. Watch the rescue arrive. This is the corner the night likes to back you into. A situation with no visible exit, a problem you have turned over 100 ways and found no door in, the sense of being pinned between something chasing you and something blocking you, with your own effort already spent. The mind insists there is no way through, and at 2 in the morning it sounds like the plain truth. The people at that shore were just as certain. They had the sea in front and the chariots behind, and they were sure they had been let out into the desert only to die there. And then the wind came, and it blew all night, and where there had been an impossible wall of water, there was suddenly a road. They walked through the middle of the thing that should have drowned them, on dry ground in the dark. The one who opened that water is the waymaker, and making a road where there is none is not an emergency measure for him. It is simply who he is. As deliverer, he specializes in the situations that everyone holding a calculator has already written off as finished. He holds the keys that open what no power can shut, and the door you have been unable to find is not hidden from him, only from you. Notice the timing of it. The sea did not part in the safety of daylight with the danger far away. It opened at night with the threat in full view, while the people could do nothing but walk forward into a gap that had not existed a moment before. Your impossible thing does not disqualify the rescue. It is the exact kind of circumstance he has parted before. Stop hurling yourself at the wall. The Redeemer who bought you back is not the sort to abandon a rescue halfway. The way through may be invisible from your pillow, and it does not need to be visible to you, because the one making it can already see the far shore from where he stands. Be still and let the wind do in the night what your strength could not do in the day. What looked like a dead end will open before you reach it, and the way you cannot see is already being made. His grace will hold the part you dread, and his hand will carry you the whole way through. Sleep now and let the Waymaker work the night shift. John 6, verses 9 to 13. Here is a boy with 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. But what difference will these make among so many? Have the people sit down, Jesus said. Now there was plenty of grass in that place. So the men sat down, about 5,000 of them. Then Jesus took the loaves and the fish, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. And when everyone was full, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over, so that nothing will be wasted." So they collected them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. Certain fears arrive wearing numbers. The sums that would not balance during the day come back after midnight to be added up again, and the answer is always the same shortfall. The mind runs the figures one more time, certain that this is the night the lack finally swallows everything whole. On a hillside once, there were 5,000 hungry people and almost nothing to feed them. The disciples did the arithmetic the way you do it in the dark. They counted what was in hand, measured it against the size of the need, and concluded it was hopeless. A boy stepped forward with 5 small loaves and 2 fish, a child's packed lunch, laughable against a crowd that size. And the one who made bread enough for thousands out of that little is the Lord who provides. Watch what he did with the small thing. He took it, gave thanks for it before it had multiplied at all, and broke it, and kept breaking it. And it did not run out, with baskets of it left over, once the crowd had eaten its fill. The lack was not answered by a larger supply arriving. It was answered by the provider taking the small supply already in his hands. He is the bread of life, which means the deepest hunger underneath all your sums is one he has already named himself the answer to. The fear says the supply will run dry before the need is met. The provider has a long history of meeting the need from a supply that should never have stretched. Manna fell every morning across a desert where nothing grew, and the ones who tried to hoard it learned that the day's portion was always exactly what they had been given. Put the calculator down. The figures will still be there in the morning, and so will the one who fed a multitude from a boy's lunch. He is not alarmed by your shortfall. He has fed his people from less, in worse deserts, on darker nights than this one. Tomorrow's provision is not yours to solve before you are allowed to sleep. It is his, and he is already awake over it. The arithmetic that frightens you has been leaving the provider out of the total. Add him back in, and the sum stops being a threat. Rest while the one who multiplies small things keeps watch over what little you have. He is breathing provision into tomorrow before you wake to meet it. What you cannot see how to cover, his grace will cover. What runs short in your hands has never run short in his. You can rest, fed and kept, while the provider sets the table for the morning. 1 Samuel 1, verses 19 to 20. Then they rose early in the morning and worshipped before the Lord, and returned and came to their house at Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. So it came to pass in the process of time that Hannah conceived and bore a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked for him from the Lord. Somewhere in you lives a prayer you have stopped expecting an answer to. You have not stopped wanting it. You have simply grown tired of carrying the hope, and somewhere in the long waiting you began to suspect that heaven had quietly moved on from your request. A woman named Hannah knew that exact weariness. Year after year she went up to the house of God and asked for the one thing her heart was set on, and year after year she went home with empty arms. On one of those visits she prayed so hard, her lips moving with no sound coming out, that the priest watching assumed she was drunk. She was not. She was a woman who had prayed the same prayer so many times the words had worn smooth, and she had come back to pray it once more anyway. What the scriptures say next is the quiet hinge of the whole story. After all those years, in the same temple, with the same request, the writer simply notes that the Lord remembered her. Not that he finally noticed her. He had been listening the entire time. The remembering was his answer beginning to move. The God she prayed to is the one who remembers, and remembering for him has never been the opposite of forgetting, because you have not left his mind for a single moment. He is the faithful one, who keeps what he has promised across spans of time that feel unbearable from inside the waiting. He is the Amen, the settled yes, standing behind every word he has ever spoken over your life. The fear says the silence means no, that you missed your window, that the answer went to other people while you slept. The waiting room you are sitting in is not empty, and it is not a sign that he stopped caring. Hannah's years of unanswered prayer were not wasted. They were the years the answer was being formed, out of sight, and handed over exactly on time. Lay the long prayer down for the night without letting go of it. You are not nagging a reluctant God when you bring it to him again. You are speaking to the one who remembered Hannah, who has your request held and dated and far from denied, and who is moving on it in a quiet you cannot hear yet. The answer you stopped expecting is being carried toward you on time, by a God who has not forgotten one word of it. His faithfulness will outlast your waiting, and his grace is holding you inside it. Sleep. He is keeping the promise while you cannot. Luke 15, verse 20. So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The hardest part is not the wandering. It is the walk back, when you rehearse the speech 100 times, certain that the best you can hope for now is to be taken on as a hired hand, because surely the place of a son is gone for good. That is exactly the speech the younger son was practicing on the road home. He had taken his share, spent every coin of it, hit the bottom of every barrel, and turned around only because starving among the pigs was worse than facing what he had done. He came back braced for the cold reception he was sure he deserved. And while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and ran. An older man in that world did not run. Running was beneath his dignity. He ran anyway, the full length of the road, and reached the son before the boy could finish the apology he had memorized. There was no probation. There was a robe, a ring, and a feast. This is the God your shame has been hiding from. He is the Father who runs. He does not wait with folded arms for you to grovel your way back into favor. He is already watching the horizon, already moving toward you before your speech is straight. The mercy that would not condemn you in the courtyard is the same Father now sprinting down the road to reach you. He is the restorer who will not reinstate you at a lower rank. He puts the ring back on the finger, the shoes back on the feet, and calls for the best robe in the house. You have perhaps decided that you used up your welcome, that the failures stacked too high this time, that grace has a limit, and you finally found it. The story was told to undo exactly that arithmetic. No version of coming home exists where he receives you coldly. Your shame wrote you a careful speech about being a hired hand. He has never let you reach the end of it. So you can stop rehearsing the apology. The robe is over your shoulders before you have explained yourself. Rest in being wanted rather than merely tolerated, welcomed rather than processed. The grace that ran to meet you before you could earn it is the same grace that will hold you through the night. Rest now, home, and wanted. Mark 4, verses 38 to 39. Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples woke him up, shouting, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Tomorrow has not arrived, and already your mind has lived it a dozen ways, and every version ends badly. This is the trick the dark plays on a tired person. It hands you a future that has not happened and asks you to survive it now, before morning, stripped of the strength and the help that daylight will actually bring. Carry one night from the Gospels into your own. A boat full of seasoned fishermen, men who knew that water in their bones, caught in a storm so violent the waves were breaking over the sides, and the boat was filling. These were not people who frightened easily, and they were certain they were about to drown. And in the back of the boat, on a cushion, Jesus was asleep. Stay with that picture a moment. The wind that terrified everyone who knew the sea did not so much as disturb his rest. He was not pretending to be calm for their sake. He was deeply, genuinely asleep in the middle of the thing they were sure would kill them, because the storm that owned their fear had no claim on him at all. They woke him the way fear always wakes us, certain he did not care whether they lived. He stood, and he spoke to the weather as though it were a child that had forgotten itself. "Peace, be still." And the wind dropped, and the water went flat, and the quiet that followed ran deeper than the storm had been. That same voice is in your room. The Prince of Peace is not somewhere across the lake. He is here, and the tomorrow you keep rehearsing is the wind he speaks to. He is your strong tower, the high place the worry cannot climb. Your refuge stands where the weather has no way in. Your rock holds firm under your feet when the day feels like deep water. And the anchor of your soul has already gone down into a place the surface storm will never reach. And it is holding, and it will hold. The Lord whose name filled the room, the mercy that closed the case against you. The same one is the calm in this boat. He has not changed between one fear and the next. The hands that quieted the sea are the hands that are near you now, and they are not in a hurry, and they are not afraid of your tomorrow. You can hand the night's watch back to him. The vigil you have been keeping over a day that has not come was never yours to keep alone, and the one keeping it now does not blink. Nothing is left for you to monitor before you are allowed to rest. The boat is going to reach the other side. He decided that before you ever climbed in. Stay in the boat a while longer. The same voice that flattened the sea has spoken peace over your tomorrow, and the weather you dread will obey it the way that storm did. His grace is enough for the day you have not met yet. Lie back in the boat and sleep. It is going to reach the shore. Luke 10, verses 41 to 42. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. In a small house in Bethany, two sisters welcomed Jesus, and they did it in opposite ways. Martha threw herself into the serving, busy and distracted, and quietly resentful that she was carrying it all alone. Mary sat down at his feet and listened. When Martha finally snapped and asked him to send her sister to help, he did not scold her for caring. He said her name twice gently, Martha, Martha, and told her she was worried and troubled about many things, when only one thing was truly needed and Mary had chosen it. You lie down, and the managing does not stop. The mind keeps running the list. Who needs what tomorrow? What might go wrong? What depends on you holding it all together? Until rest itself feels irresponsible, as though closing your eyes were a way of abandoning your post. Martha's crowded kitchen is your 1 a.m. ceiling. Hear the kindness in that correction. He named the exhausting truth the over-responsible heart keeps missing. Most of what you have been anxiously managing was never yours to carry, and the one thing that actually matters is within reach the moment you sit down. He is the wonderful counselor, whose advice untangles what worry has spent the night knotting. He sees the whole list you have been guarding and is not impressed by how much of it you have taken upon yourself. As the Lord who bids you sit, He has no need of you to keep the world turning through the night by force of will. The world has another sustainer, and He has never once asked you to apply for the post. The fear whispers that if you stop holding everything, it will all fall apart. You were never the thing holding it together. The one who upholds all things by His word was running the universe long before you learned to lie awake doing His work for Him. Your vigilance is not what keeps the people you love safe. His faithfulness is. The list will keep until morning. Leave the managing with the one who never tires of running things, and choose the one thing now. Sit down at His feet in your own dark room, and let Him be in charge while you sleep. What you have been holding together by force is held far better by the one who never sleeps. His grace will run the world through the night without your watching, and His hand will carry everything you set down. You are off duty for the night. Let yourself rest while the counselor keeps the post. Psalm 139, verses 11 to 12. If I say, "Surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about me. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you." Sometimes the dark itself is the fear. No particular worry leaves inside it, only the plain dark of the room, the way night turns a familiar space uncertain, the old childhood sense that you are somehow further from help in the dark than you ever are by day. Long ago, a man wrote a song about trying to get away from God and finding it impossible. He turned it over every way he could. Climb to the heights, and God was there. Make your bed in the depths, and God was there too. Then he came to the dark and said the thing your night most needs to hear, that the darkness is not dark to God, that night shines as bright as the day to him, that shadow itself casts no shadow in his sight. The dark that unsettles you is not a place where his attention fins. He sees in it exactly as he sees at noon. The room that feels uncertain to you is fully lit to him, and you are as visible, as held, as watched over at this hour, as you are in broad daylight. The night changes what you can see. It changes nothing about what he can. He is the God who is already everywhere you could ever be, the one the dark cannot hide you from. The same song says he hems you in behind and before, with his hand laid upon you. Surrounded, held, accounted for. You are not lying in an open field in the dark. You are lying in the palm of a hand that has never needed light to keep you. So the dark loses its edge. It was never neutral ground where you were left on your own. It is as full of him as the brightest morning, and he is as awake in it as he is in the day. Let the room stay dark. The one keeping you can see perfectly well. His grace fills the part of the night the light cannot reach, and his hand is on you in its deepest hour. Close your eyes now. You are watched over in a darkness that has never hidden you from him. John 11, verse 35. Jesus wept. Isaiah 53, verse 3. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. A name lives in you that you have stopped saying aloud. Saying it makes the room too quiet afterwards, and the silence has teeth. Grief keeps no office hours. It waits until the house is dark, and there is nothing left to distract you, and then it sits down on the edge of the bed. There is a moment in the Gospels that has held grieving people for 2,000 years, and it is only 2 words long. Jesus came to the grave of a man he loved, a friend whose sisters were undone with weeping, and although he knew exactly what he was about to do, although the whole scene would end in life, he did not hurry past the sorrow to reach the miracle. He wept. The shortest line in all of Scripture is God in tears at the side of the grieving. Sit with what that means for your night. The one who holds the keys of death stood at a tomb and cried. He is the man of sorrows the prophet wrote about, acquainted with grief, no stranger at all to the exact ache that visits you when the lights go out. When you weep into the dark, you are not weeping alone, and you are not weeping in front of a God who finds your sadness inconvenient. You are weeping beside the only one who has wept that way too. He is the God of all comfort, the one who sits in the ashes for as long as the ashes last, never checking the time. The tears you think disappear into the pillow are not lost on him. The Scriptures say he keeps them, every one, gathered and counted and held, as though each were precious enough to be worth saving. Nothing you have grieved has gone unwitnessed. No silent night of missing someone has slipped past him unseen. And underneath the sorrow, he remains the resurrection and the life, which means the goodbye you are carrying is not the final word over the person you love. You do not have to resolve that before morning, or feel it fully, or believe it perfectly. Let it simply be true while you rest, that the one weeping beside you is also the one who has promised that death does not get to keep what it took. So you can stop holding the grief so carefully, as though it might shatter the moment you loosen your grip. It is safe here. The mercy that refused to condemn you is the same tenderness that will not rush your sorrow toward a tidy ending. Lay the name down for the night. He is keeping it, and keeping you, and he does not sleep through tears. The one who wept beside you is breathing comfort into the hollow place tonight, and the goodbye you carry will not have the last word. His comfort is wide enough to hold the sorrow you cannot yet put down. You are not alone in it. Rest, while the God of all comfort keeps both you and the name you love. Mark 5, verses 27 to 34. When the woman heard about Jesus, she came up through the crowd behind him and touched his cloak. For she kept saying, "If only I touch his garments, I will be healed." Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she sensed in her body that she was healed of her affliction. At once Jesus was aware that power had gone out from him. Turning to the crowd, he asked, "Who touched my garments?" His disciples answered, "You can see the crowd pressing in on you, and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But he kept looking around to see who had done this. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him trembling in fear. And she told him the whole truth. "Daughter," said Jesus, "your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free of your affliction." In a crowd pressing in from every side, one woman stopped reaching for everything else and reached only for the edge of his robe. For 12 years, her body had betrayed her. She had spent all she had on those who promised to help and grown worse under their care, until hope itself had worn down to a single thread. If she could only touch the hem of his clothing, she would be made well. You know the hour her story belongs to. It is the one where the body becomes the thing you fear most in the dark. The symptom that will not settle, the ache that writes its own diagnosis at 3 in the morning, the quiet dread that something inside you is going wrong and may not be put right. You have perhaps done what she did, spending your strength on every promised cure and lying awake no better than before. She got through the crowd and touched the edge of his clothing, and the bleeding stopped. He felt that one touch among 1,000 others turned and would not let her slip away unnamed in the crush. He called her daughter. He named her healed. He sent her out into peace. The one she reached for is the healer, the great physician who has never misread a chart or run out of options when everyone else had. He is the Lord who heals, a name God gave himself long before there were hospitals, when he told a frightened people in the wilderness that he was the one who would make them well. The hem is still within reach from where you are lying. You do not have to fight through any crowd to find it, because the one who wore that robe is the same calm you met out on the water, now bent close over your body rather than the sea. This is not a promise that every symptom is gone by morning. It is the deeper assurance that the body which frightens you is held by the one who designed it, who knits and mends in the dark, who works beneath the surface in ways no scan can show, and who has never lost interest in your healing, however slow it has felt. The mending may be quieter than you want it to be, and it is real, and it is his own work. So let the hand that has been pressed against the worry on your chest come down to rest. You have reached for the hem. He has already felt it. Rest in being tended from the inside out, at the pace of the one who is never careless and never rushed. His grace reaches the body that frightens you, and his hand will hold you through whatever the morning brings. Let yourself sleep, tended from within, while the one who made you keeps quiet watch over the mending. John 10, verses 3-4 and verse 14. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen for his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. You have not slipped his notice. Whatever the dark has been whispering about how easily one tired life gets overlooked, it is wrong about you. The same care that keeps the stars on their courses has bent, right now, toward the small sound of your breathing in this room. The hardest lie to answer at this hour is the quiet one, that you are finally, truly alone in this, that God has gone silent on your particular case, that the prayers went up and nothing came back down, that somewhere along the way you simply stopped being seen. It is a lie that does its best work in the dark, when there is no one awake to argue with it. So listen to how he describes himself. He is the good shepherd, and a shepherd is not a manager running a flock from a distance. He walks among the sheep in the dark. He tells them apart. The gospel puts it plainly. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out, and they follow him because they have learned his voice. He does not call the flock. He calls the name. Here is the turn the whole night has been moving toward. You have been listening to his names for hours now. The name above every name, the advocate, the waymaker, the faithful one who remembered, the Prince of Peace, the healer whose hem you reached. But the shepherd who carries 1,000 names knows your one. He has never once confused you with anyone else. In a world of billions, he says your name the way someone says the only name they have ever loved. He is Emmanuel, which has only ever meant one thing: God with us, present and near, in the room rather than across the sky. The friend who stays when everyone else has fallen asleep is sitting with you in it. The keeper who appointed himself to your life will not resign the post. And the refuge you ran to in the storm already knew the way to where you are lying, because he has been the one carrying you the whole time. So let the question that has been a pain beneath everything finally rest. You are not unseen. You are not unnamed. You are the one this shepherd came out into the dark to find, and he has found you, and he will not leave with the search unfinished. Nothing needs proving before he stays. He came for the ones who could not keep up, for those who wandered off, for the people who lay down certain they had been forgotten. You are not the exception to his care. You are the very kind of person it was made for. You are known, and you are kept. And being known like this, with nothing left to prove, is the doorway into the rest your body has been too tired and too afraid to take. The shepherd who knows your name is breathing peace over you where you lie, and he will not lose track of you for one moment of the dark. His grace is on you, his hand is on you, and nothing in this night can reach you before it has passed through him first. Sleep now, fully known, held by the one who came out into the dark to find you. 1 Kings 19, verses 5 to 7. Then he lay down under the broom tree and fell asleep. Suddenly, an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." And he looked around, and there by his head was a cake of bread baked over hot coals, and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. A second time the angel of the Lord returned and touched him, saying, "Get up and eat, or the journey will be too much for you." There was a prophet who had just won the greatest victory of his life, and days later he was lying under a desert bush asking God to let him die. Elijah was not faithless. He was empty. He had poured out everything he had and reached the place where carrying on felt impossible, where the only prayer left in him was a request to simply stop. You may know that bush. It is where you arrive when the striving has run you dry, when you are too tired to fight the thoughts, with nothing left over for prayer, unable to be the strong one for anybody, and a strange flat hopelessness settles over you that has little to do with whether anything is actually wrong. Watch what God did. He did not lecture the exhausted prophet. He did not hand him a list of where he had gone wrong or a strategy to do better next time. An angel touched him, and the first gift was food, and the second gift was sleep. Eat something. Lie down. Then sleep again. Only afterwards, once the body had been mended by the plain mercy of bread and unconsciousness, did God speak the quiet word that set Elijah back on his feet. The journey is too much for you, so rest first. Hear how gently heaven treats a person who has run out. The God who could have demanded more chose instead to feed and to let sleep come. He is the rest giver, the one who called the worn out and the overloaded to come to him and be given rest. It is handed to you precisely because you cannot earn it. He is the bread from heaven, the same provider who multiplied the loaves, and he is living water for a soul gone to dust. The striving that wore you out was never the price of his nearness. His nearness is the thing that arrives once the striving finally stops. So you have permission to be exactly as empty as you are. The refilling is his task, and he does some of his best work while you sleep, the way he mended a prophet who had nothing left to give. The God who gives sleep to the ones he loves is in this room, and he is not waiting for you to become strong again before he draws close. He is drawing close because you are weary. Let the bush become a bed. Eat a little if you can. Then sleep the way Elijah slept, and let heaven do the carrying while you cannot. The rest giver is breathing strength back into you in the quiet, asking nothing of you but to lie down. His grace will be enough for tomorrow when tomorrow comes. For now there is only rest, and the one who carries the morning will still be here when it arrives. Revelation 21, verse 23. The city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. Revelation 22, verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright morning star. Psalms 121, verses 3-4. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. By now the house has gone quiet around you, and the night is at its widest. This is the hour the old fear used to fill. Let it be filled instead with something truer than fear has ever been. Imagine a city where no one ever has to wonder whether it is safe to close their eyes. In the last pages of the Bible, John is shown exactly that. A city with no sun overhead and no lamp lit in any window, and no need of either, because the Lamb himself is its light. The dark holds no authority in that place. Night never falls there, and the people do nothing to hold it back. The light at the center simply never goes out. That light has a name, and it has already entered your room. He is the bright morning star, the one who rises while it is still dark, before there is any visible reason for hope, carrying the morning inside himself. He is the light of the world, and a single flame is enough to change what a whole room means. The darkness you have been lying in was never as total as it felt. And over your sleep stands the keeper who never sleeps. The old song says it and means it without exaggeration. The one who watches over you will not so much as slumber. While you finally rest, he does not. No hour of this night goes unwatched. You can close your eyes upon a watch that never once closes its own. Listen to how many of these names you already know by heart. The Lord whose authority filled the room, the mercy that refused to condemn you, and the Father who ran the length of the road to reach you. The Waymaker who split the sea so you could cross in the dark. The Provider who fed thousands from a child's lunch, and the Faithful One who remembered a prayer you had almost given up praying. The Prince of Peace who flattened the water, and the Counselor who told you only one thing was needed. The one who wept beside your grief and kept every tear. The Healer whose hem was always within reach. The Good Shepherd who spoke your name into the dark. The Rest Giver who let a worn-out prophet sleep. They have been gathering over you all night long, and they are all the one person, and that person is keeping watch over your sleep at this very moment. So nothing is left for you to hold. The day is over, and it does not need solving before morning. The watch is his, and he is good at it, and he has never once fallen asleep on it. You can release the last of the noise now. It has no name strong enough to stand against the ones that have been keeping you all night. You are going to make it through what is ahead, carried the whole way by the grace that has been gathering names over you since the lights went out. What looked too big will bow to that grace. What looked beyond reach will come within it. His grace is enough, and his hand will hold you all the way through to the morning. Rest now, beloved. The light at the center of this room will be the first thing here when you open your eyes. He was here before the fear. He is here through the night. He will be here in the morning. and he will still be saying your name. Sleep as long as the night will let you. When the morning comes, the name that kept you through the dark will still be over you. Carry it into the day, because it goes wherever you go. And when the night returns, and the fear with it, come back. The watch will be here, and so will he. Rest now.